Okay, well, I'm going to pull off these headers. What I got is a 1 7/8 inch primary Kreitz restoration big block Ford headers with a 3.5 inch collector and slip fit 3.5 inch collector. It these have individual flanges for each primary, so it kind of makes the installation and removal easier. But there is a couple problems with this header, and Kreitz has replaced this header with another design. But I like this design because it's a lot simpler and you don't really have to pull the motor or anything to install. It would probably be very difficult to put on a daily driver because the front two primaries go underneath the front cross member. So it's you got a problem with it bottoming out, and I've had to actually solve that problem on my Torino by putting basically a bump stop inside the coil spring so that it can't bottom out more than it can't bottom out. It basically is limiting it from bottoming out on the headers, because before I did that, if I slammed the brakes really hard, it would bottom out. They're that low. But since I put the block in there, it's just a rubber block that I mounted in there. It's a solid rubber block. It has prevented it from bottoming out. But before that happened, I smashed one of the header tubes, so this is something I need to get fixed soon. I don't really think it is a huge performance issue, but I would like to have all of the headers the same diameter. So when I do a header removal or installation, I like to have a variety of wrenches. I generally use hand wrenches. It gives you a little more control, but I like the ratcheting. I like to have a regular wrench, and this header uses a 7/16 bolt head. It's a 3/8 bolt, and so I use a standard 7/16 wrench, and then I like to use a variety of 7/16 ratcheting wrenches because it makes it a little easier once you break the bolt to get them out. So it usually takes me about 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get all of these off. So putting them back in is a different story. So we'll get started. Wow, these were loose. Yeah, that's what happens after a couple years of not running the car and only doing basically cold starts. Looks like I'm missing one of the bolts, and I see it there. It popped out. That could be a reason for one of my little exhaust leaks. But we're going to fix these exhaust leaks. I have some PERCY'S aluminum header gaskets. They are I don't know, I've heard good things about them, but I'm going to try them out. I've not been having a lot of luck with the paper gaskets, and we'll see how those aluminum ones work out. Yeah, the motor's a little bit dusty. I'm going to need to get her detailed. Get in there and clean it up with the scrub brush. Maybe buff some things out. repaint the valve covers, polish up some of the chrome and the aluminum. Maybe I'll touch up the frame a little with some satin black. But, this is a pretty handsome motor when everything is clean, painted. Right now it looks kind of like dog poop, but it's still, I think it's still a handsome motor. And this thing has been together for about 12 years, so I don't really think you're going to find too many big block Fords making this kind of power, or big block anything making this kind of power that are still together, still running good. I imagine we're going to have to do some freshening up at some point, but until the thing stops making horsepower, we're going to leave it alone. I know my buddy Tom has, he's got a stroker kit out at the shop waiting for me to get my hands on it. But, I'm pretty happy with the performance of this motor, the way it stands. I think we have a 10-second car here. We just need to dial it in. We might have to tweak a few things, but I'd like to run 10s without putting it on the bottle. And but the bottle is not out of the question for the future. I wouldn't mind having a potentially 9-second car, but I just don't really want to put all the money into upgrading the safety. And it just seems like a lot of a big hassle for not a lot of benefit. That was four headers. Let's see if I can grab this thing out of here and show you what this thing looks like. Grab these gloves because these things are kind of, they got a little bit of surface rust. It's not like they're falling apart with rust, but they do need to be cleaned up, I think. My last residence, I had the car stored outside on the car trailer, and then when we moved, we decided that it was going to be in the garage. Welcome to my world. Uh-oh. Okay. That's not going to work. I have one bolt that's holding these the slip fits together. And it looks like it's 3/8. So I want to grab that. I never said I was a very good mechanic, but, you know, I'm fair to middling. She's free. Okay. we go. There, that is not a good thing right there. So these were some, I think these were Mr. Gasket, and they failed miserably. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. Back to top side. I just wanted to show you it's not a lot of work with these headers. It's a lot less work than if you're putting a header that has to go in between the steering box and the frame and wiggle through there. And a lot of times you have to loosen up the motor mounts and lift the motor to get them in, or you have to install them in one piece and push them through the bottom. So you definitely have your work cut out if you get the one-piece headers that go over the top of the frame versus the two primaries that go underneath the frame. But the underneath the frame headers are probably not going to work for a street car because of the clearance issues. But let me show you what these the driver's side headers look like outside the car. Here they are, and as you can see, this little area right in here is where the frame, where the front cross member goes. I think it's great if you're not having a street car, but if you, as you can see, well actually, these aren't, look, here we go. I'll come up here and show you guys. Right there. That's where we bottomed out. Boom, boom. So I'm going to want to get that cut out and replace that little section. Okay. Well, I'm back over here. This is the passenger side. And as you can see, it's a little bit tighter over here. And my car's kind of a mess, but hey, it's been a few years since I've had this out at the racetrack, and I've got a few cobwebs and some dust. But hey, this all this stuff cleans up, and this car's going to be tidied up shortly. All right, we got the passenger side here. I'm going to do the same little process that we did to the driver's side. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Not too bad. Well, now we're going to do the primaries on the passenger side, which is a little bit tighter because of the starter down there. They got to run a little bit differently. So, get started on that. These are incredibly loose. It's not a problem, but if it were tighter, it would be a little bit of a difficulty because this side is a little bit more compact than the passengers and the driver's side. Well, that's nice. I can get the ratcheting wrench right in there. And the nice thing about these headers is the flanges are all individual for each primary. So you can, I don't know, what is that? So once you take it out, and it opens up more room for you to work on the next header. Might pull this spark plug, make it a little easier. These are so loose that you can pretty much get these, almost get these by hand. I really like this design just because it's a lot easier than messing with a one-piece flange. They might be more prone to leakage, but installing the header and removing it is much easier, even though I don't make it look easy. What I need is I need a young assistant that doesn't have the big clodhopper hands that I do. That's about ready to come out of there. So what I can do is I get this other side, and then that'll give me more space to turn the wrench. I love the ratcheting wrenches, because when you're in a tight spot, you can't really get a ratchet in there. Just do like that, and you really see how easy that was. And look at this, boom! So I'm just going to let those set down on the floor. Header bolt out of here. Oh. It decided to go on a... It's going to make me chase it. Oh, I see it. It's on the floor. We'll get it when we're done. I really like these Taylor 409 wires. They've held up really well. And they look great, they perform great. I highly recommend them. And you can cut them to fit. And these are made for you dividers. And they work really good. I think I had to get a longer bolt because of the valve cover. This holds on the valve, and then these are aluminum valve covers, so they're a little thicker than a chrome valve cover. So when you buy the made-for-you holders, they come with a little bit shorter bolt because I think they're designed for a chrome valve cover. But no worries. Anybody who's going to go through the trouble to custom build a set of wires, I think they're going to also be able to figure stuff like that out. The other thing I like about these flanges is they're really thick. I think that's like it's 3/8, or that's a 3/8 flange, steel flange, and they're slotted so that you can put a bolt in and then slide the the primary, the flange over that, and then I think one side is, well, actually, they're all slotted, so you can do that. Every one of these primaries flanges is slotted. And this one here is going to be the harder one to get at because of the bend in the fact that I haven't really gone and tightened these headers up in a long time. It means that they're pretty loose. So, well, I can't say that I didn't tighten it up the last time I ran the car, but that's something that you would want to do if you had a set of these. You got a set of these headers. You want to tighten this up every time you run the car, just so that it's you know, they're tight. You don't want any exhaust leaks going down the racetrack. You know, if it's a big enough exhaust leak, it can burn up some valves and cause problems with the motor. But it's really easy on these headers to go ahead and tighten them up. You know, it's not difficult to get to the bolts. I might make it look a lot more difficult than it actually is. So don't sue me. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to get this number 4 off first, because these are really easy to get to, and then I'll take that number 3 off later after the number 4 is off. So just a little history on this motor. Many moons ago, I had just put the thing together with the roller cam, and I guess I had been working all weekend and didn't get a lot of sleep, and helping my buddy move his shop, and he had something like 30 FE engine blocks that I had to move across about 100 yards from a smaller shop to a bigger shop, and it was a lot of work, and I was pretty tired, and I had purchased, we went to an NHRA Top Fuel event that Saturday, and then we were there on Sunday moving all the engine blocks, and then I had purchased an air cleaner, a K&N air cleaner at the Midway there in Sonoma, and I was so excited. I wanted to put it on there because I had like the paper filter, just some garbage filter on there, and unfortunately I was not careful, and I dropped the nut for the air cleaner down the carburetor, and didn't notice anything when we left out of there, but once I opened up the throttle, heard like a sound like a bullet going off, and it was not good. Number 4 cylinder got cracked, and we made a little bit of a milkshake, and I fucked up the valves on number 4, and my buddy Tom with FE Specialties, he took some pity on me and he actually helped me out. He got the number 4 sleeved for me, got me a new piston and some new valves, and we fixed it, and this thing's been running great for like 12 years, and that's after we made that repair. So number 4 sleeved. So don't ever give up. If you build a motor and you make a big mess up like that, you can always, it can be fixed. I mean, not all motors can be fixed, but you know, big block Ford, the 385 motor, it's got some thick walls, and it's a really sturdy block, so it was able to be sleeved, and we haven't had any problems. So very happy with that. I mean, the car's run 1130, and I don't think it's reached its full potential at all. I think we got a lot more in this motor before we can do anything else to it, and I guess I should be thinking about rebuilding it, but hey, I'm one of those people that if it is not broke, why the hell fix it, you know? Why spend all the extra money to go and put it, you know, freshen up the block if it's still making power and it's still holding together? Why go through all that trouble? We're almost done with this here. I know this is starting to become a long little video, but it's not a problem. I think I'll go in and shorten this up where I can, because I know nobody wants like the dead air. I think that it's neat to kind of show the process. And this is what it's like to have a low budget muscle car or a high budget muscle car. It don't matter, whatever. I mean, you still got to do the work. I don't care how much money you got into it. You still got to do the work. And I've been slacking over the last few years. You know, other stuff has been more of a priority. But you know, COVID has taught me that, you know, life is very short, and they're constantly trying to take our liberties away, and we gotta friggin' go out and do what makes us happy. Or, you know, you don't know when you're gonna get that shit back. Like, hell, I just want to go out to dinner. I just want to go to a movie, and I can't do it. But you know, working on the race car, going to the drag strip, you know, that for now, the drag strip's still open, but you know, that might change. Looks like we got the lockdowns might continue and really affect our lives. So, you know, I want to try to take advantage of whatever freedom we have right now and get some of this done so I can go out and have fun and enjoy this hobby and this sport. I took it all for granted. COVID's taught me not to take things for granted, to just try to go and do what makes you happy. So we got both sides, both headers off, and you want to take a look at the passenger side outside the vehicle. Here's what it looks like. It's not how you doing? It's not pretty, and they're not like all lined up, but you can see how they go. And look at these thick flanges. And this one I didn't have as much issues with. A little bit right there where it bottomed out a little bit, but the other side was more. But that's Kreitz Restoration. This is their old style big block 429, 460 headers with individual 3/8 inch flanges, and it's a 1 7/8 primary. I really like these headers. I know they're not equal length, but I think unless you're getting into 700-800 horsepower shit or more, that's not a big concern. This car is only about 570 flywheel, give or take. I don't really think it's the equal length headers really kind of is hampering the performance enough to worry about it. I just love the ease of installation. I like the sound is incredible, and they float pretty decent. I know that a custom set of headers with maybe 2-inch primaries would probably be a little better performance, but for the money, these were like about, I think these were like about $450, maybe 500. I think it might have been actually less. The prices have gone up since I bought these, but I think they're a great header, and I'd highly recommend them. If you can get a set of these and you're not worried about daily driver or street driving, I think this would be the ticket. It just makes it so much easier to fuss with the car. Thanks for watching part 1 of this Kreitz Restoration long tube header installation and review. In the description, I'll have a link to Kreitz Restoration products, and at the end of this video, I have a screenshot of the new version of the Kreitz headers, and I highly recommend them. If you're looking for a long tube header for a mid-size Ford 429, 460, this is a very good option. I don't think you can go wrong. In most of the comparisons, I'm comparing these to the Super Comp long tube headers from Hooker, which I have had a set of those, and I'm much happier with the Kreitz. So stay tuned for the part 2, which is